Li Wanwan was transported to the Marvel Universe in an extremely outrageous way, and with the help of his incredibly unrestrained Tongmei, they became stronger and embarked on the path of unity and joy for all things. Steve Rogers. With a shield inserted, a green wind blows. Winning the 4th place, losing the 8th place, there is no such thing as a 5th or 5th opening. I am Super Captain America. Peggy Carter. Eat me a, cut off my child and have no descendants. Gu Yida. You are an 18-year-old driver, bullying me, a cute girl over 500 years old. Is this okay? This is not good. Primitive Transcender. I feel like Brother Wani has led me to understand the true meaning of life, Brother Wani, YYDS. Invisible Sherlock. My dear Stamen, who do you want me to become today? Aurelia. If you keep talking, listen to what Grandma says. Karma. Saw and saw. Never waver. Kaisha. I'm saying it again. Are these my autumn pants? Diana. My legs are long and white, come and touch them. Bru Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. The Crossing of Suture Monsters and the. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In a dark and deserted alley in Brooklyn, New York, the figure of a man suddenly appeared. Li Wani, a traveler from an orphanage with no father or mother, looked at this unfamiliar alley as a noble emperor of the 13 stars of Lu. I was also stunned and couldn't help but recall the scene when I traveled through time. I can't help but have a smoke at the corners of my mouth, and I don't know how to roast. On the eve of crossing, he was crossing the road after work. I saw a strange red Hercules dump truck with a logo, which collided with him and scared him to death. Fortunately, he made a big jump in time and managed to avoid it himself. He thought it was just a problem with the brakes of the dump truck or the driver drinking too much fake alcohol, so he wanted to walk up and fight with the driver. I just realized that something was not quite right, and the people around me didn't seem to be able to see this traffic accident. They are all doing their own things, as if only their own eyes can see. At this moment, the body of the dump truck made a continuous click 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 sound. It slowly deformed and even stood up. At this moment, Li Wanwan finally saw clearly what he thought the strange logo was just now. It turned out to be the symbol of the Decepticon faction in Transformers. The survival instinct of the creature made him turn his head and run away in another direction, and he looked back at the strange car tiger with a worried expression. I saw that it didn't charge over, nor did I use its black, rough, and hard laser cannon. After a moment of peace of mind, it playfully smiled in the direction of its escape. Then, a familiar torture song BGM played in its mechanical body. Then, it surprisingly made a face full of DIO in the shape of a robot. Damn it, this damn art style is collapsing, making the road wear away. Li Wani feels that this scene is too grassy and doesn't know how to roast. With more thoughts in my heart, I couldn't help but feel even more flustered. I didn't guess wrong when I heard the standard Chinese version of the sentence, smashing Voluto, from the car tiger. The world became black and white, and time was frozen. My body was fixed, but my consciousness remained clear and not stagnant. Seeing the car tiger walking step by step in front of him, he hugged his body with a mechanical arm. Then, it jumped up. Shouting, "Smash it for me," in Chinese, Li Wani was smashed out. At the moment when Li Wani smashed out of the world wall, he suddenly heard the car tiger, who was sending him through, say, "Your mission has been completed." In the scene he couldn't see, the car tiger slowly flickered into ashes. Standing in the alley, Li Wani highly praised his overly grassy way of crossing. Since it is inevitable to be traversed, it is long overdue to replace conventional methods such as regular mud trucks, electric shocks, and lightning strikes. Otherwise, the audience should be aesthetically fatigued. I couldn't help but feel that the name given to me by the dean's grandmother was not wrong, and I'm not afraid of 10,000, just in case. Even the way to travel to another world is unparalleled. Li Wanwan thought to himself, since we have all arrived at the station, why hasn't Tongmei prompted for the payment yet? Aren't we afraid that the host will be directly hit by dimensionality reduction? Why don't you give it a ding recalling the famous novel, 10086 Survival Guides to Crossing the World, in my mind, many of which require triggering the golden finger on their own. I asked tentatively in my own mind. System, is it there? Li Wan immediately heard a cute and excited female voice that came to his mind. Master, I am here. Upon hearing his own son's answer, Li Wan's mind was already too high. Sure enough, the essential golden finger for travelers may be late, but it will never be absent. Excitedly, he asked, System, give me a brief introduction to yourself. Subsequently, the system replied. This system is called Wind Spirit Moon Shadow Modifier 1.0. Function. F1 is activated, and you can improve your own attributes for yourself and others. Note. Small opening is not an option, it is only an auxiliary feature. Please explore other functions on your own. Then the sound of the system fell silent. Upon hearing the concise introduction of the system, Li Wan couldn't help but twitch his lips again. This system introduction is really simple, just one function, nothing else. But there's something about this name, and the note is well known to me as a toxic milk powder player. My teammates are all talented and speak well. They only ask me expectantly, brother, is the car stable? Wait, please discover other functions yourself. Does this mean that my Tongmei is not locked to the upper limit like other seductive and rigid systems? Most functions are hidden and need to be triggered on their own. If you're bold, you can still add features according to your own ideas, relying on me to think. Li Wan brainstormed while his eyes lit up as he thought. Then he tentatively asked the system. Newcomer gift package. Ding, congratulations to the master for triggering the system's hidden benefits, beginner's gift pack. The big gift package is as follows. 1. Dungeon and Warrior World, Extreme Attainment Sword Soul, Template. Ding. Successfully triggered the hidden system achievement Wind Spirit Moon Shadow Sect Master, and the system rewards a free F1 activation once. Ding. I have increased my master's comprehensive attributes by 20 times, and my strength is about Marvel Universe Heavenly Father level. Without my sword chi tattoos on my body, I have become a sword god since hanging the machine. My ability to think. 1,000 points. The template for Sanju Crane brother. Undoubtedly, it is the Wind Spirit Moon Shadow system, and the bond with dungeons and warriors is truly deeply loved. The template for the big gift package is also from the dungeon. The same goes for hidden system achievements, but what has been achieved by the Wind Spirit Moon Shadow sect leader. You fart in the system, I Lubin. I didn't even cheat. Do you use auxiliary computing cheats? Of course not, it's just an auxiliary tool that can make things easier. Can the 10 times increase in attributes of the poisoned milk powder 3 cents hanger brother reach the level of Marvel Heavenly Father? No, it seems normal too. According to the official game settings, after 3 awakenings, the adventurer breaks through his own vessel and realizes the power of excellence, and his strength grows exponentially. The power of the primordial is completely integrated with the adventurer, and can already cause huge damage to 13 apostles. Moreover, there are a few red-haired demon realm people in the 3 consciousness professions, whose ultimate move is to easily bomb planets. There seems to be no problem reaching Marvel's Heavenly Father level after a 10-fold increase. Also, is this the 1,000 points of my thinking power? Is this the source of energy for my system? What is the source? How to obtain it? Isn't its function really like a name? Clap your hands and do whatever you think. Li Wan thought proudly, and the corner of his mouth couldn't help but tilt. Then, Li Wan spoke to Tongmei again. System, open my own panel. The system immediately answered. Congratulations to the owner for successfully discovering the hidden system panel function. The system is currently building the system panel. 9%. 16%. 30%, 100% in system upgrade. Ding. The system has been upgraded to Wind Spirit Moon Shadow Modifier 1.1. The system panel has been added and is being opened for the owner. P.S. What do you think of the template for Pig Feet White Prince? By the way, the author has laid some foreshadowing in this chapter. Have you noticed, Yenzu Enifei? The next chapter will write about the protagonist's own settings and online intelligence. The cute new author is trying to write for the first time, and the new book is on its way. By the way, I hope everyone can support me and give me some flower reviews and rewards. If readers have any opinions or suggestions, young authors will humbly accept and correct them. Chapter 2. Unexpected and Unreasonable Panel. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding. The system panel has been opened for the owner. The system replied in an expected tone. Upon hearing the system's response, Wanwan restrained the already boiling Wang Jili and excitedly clicked on the virtual screen in front of him with his right hand. Dimension. Unification of all things, you come from a higher dimension, you are the ruler of time and space, you forge endless legends and myths, stories are passed down by you, the world is born from you, and all stories will eventually be your power. You are the unification of all things. High-dimensional existence, you come from the seventh dimension across the universe, and people or things lower than the seventh dimension can't do anything to you and change your ideas. Their ideas will eventually be foam, and your ideas and actions will ultimately be determined by you. Uniqueness, in the endless universe, you will eventually be the only one you are now. You will not give birth to any variants of parallel universes, and your actions in the universe will not give birth to new parallel universes or give rise to new timelines. You are the chosen one, you are the only one. Traverse, you can freely roam through endless universes, immerse yourself in each different universe, and the universe you enter will eventually become a brand new one. The timeline has no master, and you will control it. You will write the final chapter of the story. My ability to think. 1000 points Wind Spirit Moon Shadow Modifier 1.1 System Function. 1. F1 Start, small opening is not open, only auxiliary. The owner can improve their comprehensive attributes for themselves and others, character template. Dungeon Warrior Ultimate Attainment. Sword Soul, has increased overall attributes by 20 times, strength. Marvel Universe Heavenly Father level. Li Wani, looking at the unique layout of the panel in his own family. Thinking excitedly and inexplicably in my heart. My position as the one of all things is a bit impressive. When did I acquire it? Has Tongmei never given it to me? The attribute description of my own grid is also strong and outrageous. It is high-dimensional, unique, and time-traveling. These mud horses are all possessed by the highest divine nature. Does this mean that I can immediately transform into a fun person and cause trouble? Don't be afraid to disrupt the timeline and disrupt the absolute time point, causing the universe to disappear directly, or do you have a mature hairstyle and stand in the sky? In summary, am I invincible in the world now? No, I'm not invincible yet, and I can't say I'm invincible. The previous perfect creature who claimed to be invincible has been sunbathing for countless years. What's strange about this system panel is that it's different from the traditional RPG games I've played and the system stream novels I've read. Why is my personality and my ability to think displayed on the system? Isn't reasoning about attributes and titles that should be included in the system? How could it be on top of the system? Li Wani was recalling the bits and pieces of his journey in his mind. Finally discovered something wrong and made some conjectures about the direction. Firstly, the unique way in which one sews up monsters to cross is no longer an ordinary traveler, just like the grass growing. Secondly, in his communication with his own system, he only noticed now that Tongmei always carries his own emotions in his answers. She is alive and has high intelligence and ideas. Finally, there is a unique system panel with its own layout. Does it mean that both one's own identity and the power of my thoughts are born before the system, as their own identity and the power of my thoughts rank above the system? Li Wanyi connected these details together and gradually came to a conclusion. The plot that always appears in many travelers' novels. I killed myself. I'm sorry, I took the wrong set. My journey through grass should have been brought by my future self, thank you Ibwa. This system should also be created by me in the future. I also imbued her with my own emotions, which is why she has feelings of anticipation and joy towards me. Li Wanwan has already let go of the conclusion in his heart. It's useless not to let go, it's just adding to his own troubles. My current strength is only at the level of a heavenly father, not much stronger, and I don't have the invincibility of the future. Why don't we just honestly help each other and become stronger with our lovely Tongmei, and become stronger day by day? Anyway, the attribute panel can reflect that you are gradually becoming stronger, and it won't lead to not seeing the results of your efforts and opening up. After I and Tongmei become strong enough, they should travel back to their native Earth to form an absolute point in time and form a time loop. After thinking about these things, Li Wanyi had already thrown away the anxiety, panic, and other emotions of traveling to a different world. My own personality has prevented me from being inexplicably destroyed by Shua, and my own younger sister was also created by myself. It was not created by any god of cattle and horses, and will never betray oneself. I have cheats and such high attributes, why panic or fear any indigenous people? After thinking about these things, Li Wanyi's consciousness has already united the front line with Tongmei, and he trusts her immensely. He also has no systematic conspiracy theories about her. So he asked with a friendly attitude. Tongmei, it seems that the system is not very good to always call you. How about I give you a name? You used to call it Wind Spirit Moon Shadow Modifier 1.1, why don't I just call you Wind Shadow in the future? How about that? After speaking, her younger sister immediately replied happily and excitedly. Of course, thank you, the owner, for giving me a name for the small system. The name my master helped me choose has a high score in Fengying's heart. Reward my master 1,000 points of my ability to think. Sure enough, Fengying has high authority on her own, and she must have stored a lot of energy. Just because my experience cannot give me invincible cheats. But my ability to think has already reached 2,000 points, this power is particularly mystical by its name, and should belong to the omniscient and omnipotent power. There is nothing he cannot do as long as he wants to do it himself. So how do I get it and use it? Li Wanyi thought helplessly. Suddenly, a thought flashed through Li Wan's mind. As a traveler, without any combat power in the early stages, the most important thing is omniscience. There are so many different worlds, who can remember the complete story of the world? To prevent being blinded by a certain Fu-Yin. So he asked Fengying. Wind and shadow, how should I obtain my power to search for ideas, and what is the source of it? Does using energy points allow you to expand on the new DLC and add some features that I have come up with? Master, my ability to think can be gained by changing the timeline and creating new stories. My ability to think is really important to you and me. Energy points can help me add customized system functions. May I ask what kind of features do you want to add? Fengying happily replied. I want to have an encyclopedia searcher that can connect me in real time with my native Earth before traveling, allowing me to access any information I need. Okay, this expansion requires 1,000 points of my creativity. Does the owner agree to use it? Fengying said. Agree, Fengying will upgrade me quickly and fiercely. P.S. The outline of the author is to explain the protagonist and the setting of their own system in these chapters, without engaging in systematic conspiracy theory. Can Yanzu and Ife accept the protagonist who goes against the conventional plot? By the way, I also hope that all the big doors can provide more support and give me some flower evaluations and rewards. Chapter 3. The function and dimension of Encyclopedia, traditional Chinese. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Ding. The Wind Shadow has been successfully upgraded to the Wind Spirit Moon Shadow Modifier version 2.1. The Encyclopedia feature of Fei Lu Yi, has been added. Function description. This encyclopedia links to the 7th dimension, where all knowledge and materials within the 7th dimension can be accessed, but it requires the use of the My Thinking Power energy point to access. Fengying said proudly. The 7th dimension. This is the second time I have seen this vocabulary. The first time it appeared in the description of the case. I only know a little about Marvel's Dimension Lord Mephisto and Dimension Demon God Cezorn when it comes to this dimension. What does 1 to 7 dimensions represent? Forget it, just go deep blue and add some more. Wanwan gave up thinking. I won't click anywhere, so easy. Wind and shadow, quickly use Fei Lu, you'll know. Let me see what this dimension theory is, how mysterious it is. Okay, master. To access the dimension theory, you need to use 500 points of, I think energy points. Do you agree? Tongmei replied. 500 energy points, is that so much? That's right, dimension is already a pure component and secret of the worldview, and it belongs to extremely precious information. It's normal for it to be expensive. Check it out for me, Wind Shadow, use energy points. Wanwan said to Fengying with great pain. Okay, master, I have checked the theory of dimensions. The information is as follows. The dimension hierarchy represents different levels of the universe, and is mostly linked to the life hierarchy and strength. The first to fourth dimensions represent a composite universe composed of several individual universes, and also refer to characters who can freely travel through their own universe time and space, represented by the character, Flash. A 5-dimensional super-universe or a character that transcends the multiverse and has the power level to freely destroy or change the multiverse settings, representing the character, Troublemaker. The 6-dimensional omnipotent universe or a collection of story creators, who can freely change the settings in the worldview universe and have abilities beyond the characters in the universe's story, represented by the characters. The original transcendent and DC Lucifer. The 6.5-dimensional narrative layer refers to the conceptual sum of various cosmology and setting sets, representing characters such as Marvel OAA and DC Supreme God. 7 dimensions. Representative character. Wanwan. Fengying said excitedly. Ah. Is the dimension set like this? But it seems to be similar to the information I see in my regular short video browsing on Little Pockball. A 1-dimensional line, a 2-dimensional plane, and 3 dimensions form the basic structure of the world. The 4 dimensions are composed of countless 3 dimensions, with the addition of time dimension, and then form a composite universe. The 5 dimensions are composed of countless multiverse worlds, and the world is not a single line from the beginning to the end, but like a big tree with many possibilities. The world withers and grows like green leaves every day, and the world is tightly connected by the branches of the big tree. There doesn't seem to be much difference between 6 dimensions and 6.5 dimensions. Are the representative characters the supreme beings of this universe? How could there be a gap of half a dimension? I don't understand. Then, Wanwan thought for a long time in his mind about the comparison between the OAA scene in the native universe and the analysis of the Supreme God. Comparative analysis of the original Transcendent and DC Lucifer, combined with the knowledge of dimension theory that has been consulted. I finally realized the differences and shamelessly took advantage of my intelligence. I have to say out loud, I'm really a shark arm. Wanwan sighed sincerely at himself. If the term 6 dimensions only refers to powerful beings at the level of the omnipotent universe, the number of people in DC, Marvel, and even other worldviews is not small. The strongest representatives are the primitive Transcender and DC Lucifer. They are the highest in their own universe, except for the background boards of OAA and Supreme God, and belong to one person below. Ah. You said Marvel and DC editorial department are creators, aren't they the fathers of OAA and Supreme God? Aren't Xiao Chao and Lucifer just characters written to death with just one pen? But think about it, there are often self-created characters in Meiman who cross to the editorial department on the fourth wall, asking the writers to change the plot or kill the writers' stories. Don't they still belong in their own stories? How could it be even stronger than one person in this worldview? Isn't this a joke? I roughly understand the 6- and 5-dimensional narrative layer, which refers to the collection of concepts from various worldviews and universes. The true supreme, the existence of the background board, also has no worldly desires. The universe is both oneself and oneself. It is both the whole and the only. Surprisingly, all the data in the 7th dimension are question marks, indicating that the character is myself. It's impossible for Fei Lu-yi to be unable to access this information, right? Is it because it has already been checked and encrypted for unknown reasons? Li Wanwan thought of it this way. Fengying, you bad guy, did you hide information from the 7th dimension? I'm not sure about Fengying, it's just a system that was born in less than a day, and I don't know how to pinch anything. Fengying spoke with grievances. Forget it, if the information is hidden, it will be hidden, and Fengying will not answer. If nothing unexpected happens, I guess I need to reach a certain level or do something to unlock it, right? Also for the correctness of my own story. Li Wanyi sighed. P.S. The dimensions and character settings of this book may not be widely accepted by readers. These settings are all created by the author themselves, and some settings have been borrowed. Please give it some feedback. By the way, I would like to ask for the support and appreciation of the flowers from all of you, Yenzu and Ife Duo. Please give me a reward. Chapter 4. I am indeed in Marvel. Encounter the Novice Village. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Due to Li Wanyi's curiosity about the unknown and secrets, as well as his own caution, and the dual situation of pulling and probing with Fengying. So, which led to the 3rd chapter of this book, Li Wanyi, in the eyes of outsiders, has always been nervous about the air in the alley. Fortunately, at the moment when he was sent in, he was passively protected by a high-dimensional existence that he had never known before. Otherwise, it may be overshadowed by the aftermath of a certain avenue being erased. Li Wanyi, who had calmed down, only then asked Fengying. Fengying, help me check. In which worldview of the universe am I currently in, where am I located, and on what timeline? The wind and shadow immediately returned. Okay, Master, checking this information requires 100 energy points. Do you agree? I had 2,000 points before, and I used 1,000 points when expanding DLC in Fengying. The theory of dimensionality has used another 500 points, leaving 500 points. This query cost another 100, leaving only 400 points. The children of poor families have long been in charge of the household, so they need to save some money. If we don't find a way to expand the market economy, both of us will starve to death. Li Wanyi thought of it with great heartache. Subsequently, he immediately spoke to Fengying. Agree to use, and in the future, as long as I want to use energy points. Fengying, you don't need to ask me if I agree to spend energy points, just use it directly. Okay, Master. Ding. We have checked the information in this field, and the Master is located in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the Earth. 20,000 ID. Located in Brooklyn, New York, the current timeline is June 14, 1943 at 6:30 a.m. Fengying's tone returned with anticipation. Is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a new universe numbered Earth. 20,000? Is this passively influenced by my time travel, to form a universe similar to the Marvel movie universe Earth. 199999 world setting? The situation should be similar. Coincidentally, I remember this timeline was Steve Rogers' 4th military medical examination. After being eliminated, he went to watch a movie in a bad mood and got into an argument with a thug. Created a scene of rising to fame next to the trash can. I can spend a whole day with you. I'll wait and look for the Dia version of 55 Kai Captain to see if the universe is as I thought. If it's set purely like the movie universe, my Heavenly Father level strength and high-dimensional abilities are currently truly invincible. Among the Heavenly Father level powerhouses, King Asgard Odin can no longer withstand his growing strength as he ages. I often need Odin's sleep to recuperate my body, and I haven't seen how he interacts with others before. And Supreme Mage Koichi has been fighting against numerous dimensional creatures for hundreds of years to protect Earth. I have to secretly absorb the power of the dark dimension to maintain my own longevity, and openly gather the power of Dumam. If it weren't for her not wanting to live anymore, who could have taken her offline? The only single universe-level Dormammu that has ever appeared is another War 5 scum that has left its own dimension. The waste that was lifted and beaten by Odin and Gai cannot enter the Earth, so it is not a concern. I remember before I traveled, the most powerful character in Marvel's universe timeline planning was probably the God of Time, Loki. Firstly, according to the setting, the God of Time, Loki is the time branch Loki who appears in the timeline of the movie universe when members of the Alliance cross time and compete for gems. He became a time criminal for TVA, so his background does indeed come from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. After experiencing a deep bond of falling in love with oneself and finally being advised by the members of the Time Variation Management Bureau, Loki experienced a time violation. And because the time loom destroyed the branch timeline, they were temporarily decomposed in front of Loki. Then, in order to prevent the time loom from destroying the branch timeline, Loki kept using time slip. It even took centuries to learn mathematics, physics, and chemistry, and to create variable amplifiers. However, it is of no use. The time loom still destroys the branch timeline because the time branch will continue to grow. Finally, in the words of the remaining person Kong, blind spots and the ultimate solution were found. He understood that he should be that kind of god for them. Loki was wearing bean shoes, holding all the timelines in his hands, sitting on the golden toilet, forever making his own decisions. Starting from the pinnacle of the 9 realms, Loki, who ultimately falls on the throne of time, sits on the throne he once dreamed of. But I can only sit on the throne of time and watch my brother, mother, and friends from afar, forever alone. After recalling the plot of Marvel's 4th stage Rocky 2, Wanwan felt that it was really a beautiful thing to have watched it before the time travel. The plot design and touching level were given full marks by himself. And due to the purpose and environment of the God of Time, Loki, he neither knows nor can interfere with what he wants to do. It's truly delicious, although one's high-dimensional existence, a tribute saves oneself from the risk of being missed. But don't forget that if the treatment of the 6 infinite gems money leopard in the series were to be put into the pocket of Black Strange, the universe wouldn't even know it. If you're still entertaining yourself, that would be too tragic, just like a clown. For the new Marvel Cinematic Universe now, I just want to thank Rocky for sending me free will. Strong people cannot appear, and weak people cannot defeat me. Are you too friendly to me? I really cry to death. Wait, have I forgotten something? Liwani's mind flashed with something. He immediately spoke to the empty surroundings. Gu Yida, don't hide. I can't stop seeing you laughing at me all the time. How long do you have to wait for me? Subsequently, Gu Yida, wearing a yellow wizard robe and a hood, slowly appeared before his eyes. He said with a humorous smile in his tone. You are still so alert and sharp. I quickly realized that I was observing you all the time. Truly worthy of being a noble one of all things, come safe and sound. When it comes to the novice village chief in Marvel World, many people jokingly refer to the 8th level agent of the Divine Shield Bureau, Phil Coulson, as the novice village chief. Because in the plot, he will definitely be able to get to know and meet many protagonists. And Liwani believes that the real village chief is definitely the ancient one. Because even if she can sense if you suddenly cross into Earth, is your soul different from the locals? However, you are always an extra variable in the already planned timeline. She only needs to use the time gem in the eyes of a Go motorcycle to check the timeline and discover the time when other people or objects first undergo changes. She can come early to observe. The saying that Gu Yida in various novels cannot observe the major interlocutors and cannot arrest them is just nonsense. She just thinks that the future derived from you will be more interesting, and the Earth will be safer, which can make her retire early. Fortunately, I just opened it up and assumed I didn't know. So, it was only then that other travelers were allowed to ignore it. P.S. The author strongly favors the American drama, Rocky II, and suggests watching Rocky I first. The plot design and touching level of this drama are truly perfect. Currently, MCU has the best reputation and is highly recommended. Let me tell you, this is what I believe to be the true Ancient One. All kinds of Yenzu and Ife, please spray lightly. By the way, could you please ask for a flower evaluation and a reward? Chapter 5. The logo of Gu Yida is gone. Arrange. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Upon hearing Gu Yizuan's witty response to himself, he said. Li Wani immediately discovered some hidden information from the Ancient One's speech to him. Firstly, Master Koichi spoke with a tone of humor towards himself, praising me for being clever and sharp at the beginning. It indicates that we haven't met for the first time. She knows her character well and we should have known each other for a long time. Secondly, Master Gu Yida joked about my position as the one who returns all things to one and said, don't be safe. The conclusion of these 2 points combined is probably that I didn't know how long I had traveled through the timeline and met her a long time ago. And our relationship is probably good. So, Li Wani probed Gu Yida. Gai, why did you come to welcome me? Who are we? Koichi slowly put down the yellow mage's hood, and the first thing that appeared was not her strong enough reflective symbol. But rather a head of flowing and beautiful golden long hair. She has grown hair. And her face is covered in collagen, her face is sweet and charming. At first glance she looks a bit like Elizabeth Olsen, the character who played the Scarlet Witch. This young and beautiful appearance doesn't look like the one in their 40s in the movie universe. The 18.25 age range is really eye-catching. What spicy tie pants. Young Gu, as shown in the picture, Gu Yida jokingly and meaningfully said to Li Wani. Oh, have you already guessed our beginning? I won't be able to watch your wonderful performances in the future. Oh, it's a pity. In case, it's been a long time since we last saw each other, we'll have a long way to go. Gu Yida's words gave Li Wani a little shock again. Initially, he just thought they knew each other in the past time and space, and their relationship was very good. Unexpectedly, he did a little bit of bullying his master and destroying his ancestors himself. The mage is also a master. No wonder he encountered a young version of Gai with blonde hair and big waves this time. Li Wani returned with a myriad of thoughts. Long time no see, Koichi. Although, this is the first time I've seen you. But to you, we've known each other for a long time, and I don't have any sweet memories of being with you now. But I have to tell you loudly, you're here, I'm here, we've been here all along. Upon hearing this sentence, Gu Yida's eyes immediately turned red and tears welled up in his eyes. Then, after a moment of silence, he spoke reluctantly. Time is running out, you should go do what you need to do. See you later. After speaking, the surroundings slowly flipped like mirrors, forming an exit the size of a door. Li Wanwan only realized that the environment he was in was mirror space, and he didn't even realize when he was dragged into the mirror space by Gu Yida. Gu Yida's strength should have been greatly strengthened, and his current Heavenly Father level strength has not responded at all. Fortunately, this is the mirror space exhibited by Koichi. Is this move meant to teach me a lesson? Let me be careful of these methods of controlling time and space in the future, and not be afraid of others throwing bricks too hard. I am afraid that this kind of defense is impossible, and I am completely unaware of any changes in the world, living in my own small world. Subsequently, Li Wanwan followed behind Gu Yi and both walked out of the mirror space. Gu Yi opened the portal of Kamatage and spoke confidently to him. In case, follow your heart and remember your name. Don't be afraid of 10,000, just be afraid of the unexpected. Just do what you want to do. After speaking, Gu Yi passed through the portal and disappeared. Li Wanwan thought about Gu Yi's words. Her meaning is to do whatever she wants. Does she believe that the choice in my heart is the only correct path for the future? At this moment, a ray of sunshine shone on Li Wanni's face, and he finally let go of his thoughts. I just realized that it's already morning and I've chosen to find Captain Duya. Let's take a step by step with our thoughts. Li Wanni walked on the streets of Brooklyn in the early morning while talking to Fengying. Fengying, you said before that my ability to think is generated by changing the timeline and creating stories. If I were to erase Steve Rogers' path of technological rise as the captain of the upturned buttocks, and then transform him from a tech tester to a captain on the magic side. What do you think of making him believe in Reme Dios, learn Divine Fist, and become a righteous Blue Fist Saint? Rogers and the Blue Fist Saints both have very righteous personalities and firm beliefs, so it is estimated that they have perfect compatibility. Before starting the team in the future, let Rogers first insert the Xinjiang shield into the ground, add some buff to the members of the alliance, and then go to the team booze. The winning rate will definitely be much higher. The story of Steve Rogers' transformation from Captain America to Marvel's first groundhog, swinging his fists and punching others 3,000 times must be very interesting. I am an Iron Slayer, he is a ground-penetrating nurse, and we both have a bright future. Li Wanni, in collaboration with Fengying, decided on Rogers' path with great malice, without asking if they agreed or not. Many people on the street have woken up, and the people around them are chattering and greeting each other. Li Wan, as a former academic scumbag, could only understand simple words such as ma ru fa ku and siate in English. He just remembered that he had gone to a different world, and the language system must not be universal. Then, Li Wanni tentatively spoke to Fengying. Fengying, proficient in language. Ding. Trigger hidden welfare rewards. Congratulations to the master for obtaining the language proficiency Pro-Max version. This skill belongs to conceptual skills, and the master will automatically adapt to all intelligent race languages in their worldview. Fengying said happily. After loading the language proficiency Pro-Max version, Li Wanwan finally understood Maligian English spoken by people around him. After hearing someone say they want to participate in military medical examinations and go to the battlefield to fight against Nazis, he slowly followed the person and prepared to wait for Steve Rogers to succeed. No matter how hero he is, he will be beautiful. In the end, he delivered charcoal in the snow with a combination of punches, making it impossible for him to find Amelia. P.S. Gu Yi definitely needs to accept it. The young author has a habit of using honorific names first, and only when they are familiar with it can they use their name. Arrange the 5.5 team leader to go boxing and give a little shock to the Marvel natives. By the way, I would like to request a flower evaluation ticket and a monthly pass, as well as a reward. If there are any mistakes, please point them out. The author humbly accepts and corrects them. Thank you for your support, Yenzu and Ife. Chapter 6. God of Deception, Story, and Joy. Let. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Li Wanni silently followed the increasing number of participating troops and walked towards the conscription office. Along the way, people who knew each other in the crowd began to converse from all over the world. Talking in confusion, Little Beard has taken over another place. A loaf of bread is now sold for 500,000 yuan. Some people say things like Tian Yu Amelika and so on. When I heard another Nigel and another person named Henry Kaminsky greet each other using rap, Li Wanni knew he wouldn't have to wait too long to see the youth version of Duya Captain. Because in the plot of the US team, this military inspector named Henry Kaminsky is the one who ranks ahead of Steve Rogers. With a happy mood, Li Wanyi followed the large army slowly to the conscription office. After leisurely waiting for more than 10 minutes on the street outside the conscription office, we finally arrived at Steve Rogers. A skinny white man who is not even 1.7 meters tall came to the conscription office to participate in military medical examinations. Who else is there besides Rogers? His recognition is really too high, I really cry to death. An hour later, Rogers walked out of the conscription office with a dejected expression on his face. Li Wanyi immediately waved at him with a smile and shouted. "Steve Rogers, look over here and here." Rogers heard Li Wanyi's enthusiastic greeting and looked at his face, which was unfamiliar to him. He had no memory of it. But as a righteous 5-star citizen of Brooklyn, New York, ignoring the enthusiasm of others is still not good behavior, and he silently walked up to Li Wanyi. "Hello, may I ask your name? I don't seem to know you. Is there anything you want to do with me?" Rogers asked patiently, puzzled. "You don't really know me, but it's okay. I just know you're Steve Rogers. Your 4th military inspection was eliminated again, right? Do you really want to join the military and serve your country? I can help you fulfill all these wishes to make Amelia great again, right?" Li Wanwan used the devil's whisper to Rogers. "Who the hell are you? How did you know my name? I also know that this is my 4th military inspection and being eliminated, which can help me enter the military. Do you want me to join the army as a traitor and betray the secrets of Amelia's army? You die of this heart. You Nazi agent, I'm going to report you." Rogers angrily said, intending to shout and let everyone catch him together. Then he will be interrogated by the military about his origin. Li Wanwan had a wild idea about Rogers and couldn't get angry at all. Instead, he wanted to laugh. Then, the life level of the Heavenly Father level was directly used to suppress the body that planned to shout out at Rogers. At this moment, Li Wanyi's mind flashed with a thought of joy. Anyway, I want someone to appear before me and rewrite a new story for Rogers. It's better to change to a different vest, or just cosplay with Loki, to create a sharp contrast between my true Loki and the fake Loki from Fengying. Then, the righteous Rogers, who had practiced the divine fist, gave him the Asgard Harmony God 3,000 punches and made him sleep on the ground looking up at the stars. "Then say one more thing, you Rocky, you're the worst Rocky I've ever seen." Another famous scene created by one's own black hands, the 3 princesses of Asgard, can appear in new stories written by oneself. Thinking of this, Li Wanyi, as a highly pure musician, had already burst into laughter in his heart. Then, Li Wanyi suppressed his laughter and said to Rogers. "I forgot to introduce myself. My real name is Li Wanyi, and it's okay if you don't know my Chinese name. When I lived in Nordic countries, I also had a name called Loki Lofisen, who was the god of fraud, pranks, change, time, and story in Nordic mythology. This name is quite popular among legends. If you don't know it yet, it's recommended to read more books. And I just temporarily deprived you of your physical mobility, if you still plan to let me help you fulfill your wish. Stop yelling and yelling, it's causing trouble. Do you understand?" As soon as he finished speaking, Rogers immediately felt that his body, which had been deprived for a long time, had returned to his control. This powerful manifestation of extraordinary power made Rogers feel that his worldview had collapsed a bit. Because there are many sects and cults established in America, and there are countless gods they believe in. But now, a true God with extraordinary power has descended upon him, and Rogers feels very honored and excited. Rogers could no longer resist his thirst for knowledge and was particularly curious about the true myths, legends, and history. Rogers first asked with great anticipation. "God, why did you choose to help me? I am just an ordinary person, with nothing special about it. I have no faith, not even faith." Just as he finished speaking, Rogers excitedly said another sentence. "You are called Loki in Northern Europe, and there is a Chinese deity name that I don't understand. Do you still have a name called Jehovah? Li Wani expressed great understanding of Roger's excited desire for survival, as an ordinary person would like to know the true history and myths of the world. Li Wani immediately added the newly created version in his mind, and after completing it, he felt that there were no logical bugs in the version. I started answering Roger's questions. First of all, I have the vocation of story and time. Because I can see that in the future, you will be heroes who save the world one by one, and your actions will affect a century. I really like your epic story, so I want to give you a little help of billions. Secondly, because I am the god of stories, I enjoy going to different theological systems to sneak a peek and record various stories. So, I often see some secrets that I shouldn't read. Then, many main gods of the divine system issued orders to pursue and kill them. Therefore, I cannot use a common name and need to frequently change my appearance to avoid pursuit. Don't call me Shenhao in the future, just call me Li Wani. I won't blame you for disrespecting me. If my divine name is heard by believers, it means that their main god has heard it and will come to pursue me again. I will never have peace, do you understand? Understood, story and time. Li Wani. Rogers immediately agreed. You also understand that your body is somewhat weak, which prevents you from passing the military medical examination. Enter the army, defeat Littlebeard and save the world. I have two paths for you to choose from now, both of which have the ability to help you become stronger. One is to take a technological route, by using gene serum to change your genes, causing them to constantly mutate, making your flesh and blood stronger than humans. The second is to take the path of magic, because there is no magic in the reality dimension, and we need to borrow some dimension demons. I know a goddess who symbolizes justice, light, and hope. She has millions of steadfast believers and countless followers in a certain world. She selflessly brings hope and redemption to countless suffering people. She is a generous God, all you need to do is give her a little bit of loyal faith and strengthen your belief in justice. Bring hope and light to the world, and she will descend upon you the revelation of God, giving you the power to change the world. So, Steve Rogers. Are you choosing the path of flesh and blood genes represented by red, or the path of mysterious magic represented by blue? I'm curious. P.S. What path do you think Captain Xiaoxi would choose? By the way, the author has always looked at the comments section. If there are any suggestions or opinions, the author will humbly adopt and correct them. By the way, I would like to ask Yanzu and Ife to subscribe more, request flower evaluation tickets, monthly tickets, and tips. Thank you all. Chapter 7. I choose mysterious blue. Those who are about to transfer jobs. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After listening to Li Wani's explanation of two different paths, Steve Rogers silently pondered for a long time in his mind. Then, Steve's eyes revealed his hesitation. And with hope, he asked Li Wani about it. Can I respectfully address you like this, Brother Wani? Because you said I couldn't call you by your divine name, and you felt like calling you by your name directly. I don't respect you too much. Do you agree with me calling you this way in the future? Also, how do you think I should choose? You mentioned that choosing gene serum would change my genes, causing me to constantly mutate and my flesh and blood to become stronger. But can I still be considered a human in the end? If I choose magic, the main reason is that I'm afraid I won't be able to learn it myself. My innate intelligence is average, and I haven't even understood the math, physics, and chemistry courses taught in school. If I switch to practicing mysterious magic now, will I still have time? So, I'm hesitant about how to choose which path. Can you give me some inspiration? After listening to Steve's words, Li Wani patiently replied. Of course you can call me that, I'm not much more prestigious than you. Our legendary gods and demons were actually just stronger humans at the beginning. We also have our own desires and weaknesses, and we are not omniscient beings. You call me brother, I'm honored, my friend. In the future, when you talk to me, you don't need to call me Gu, just call me you and my name directly. As for giving you advice, I suggest you choose the second path of magic. Because the strongest technology currently available to humans is of no use to beings like us who possess extraordinary powers, nor can it cause us any harm. You now know that the various gods and demons in human legends and stories are real, and you may have to come into contact with them in the days to come. No matter how strong your body is and how advanced the weapons you carry. There are many gods and demons among us, and most of them have various spells of soul and confusion. It's too difficult for you to resist the power of these spells. So, I think choosing the path of magic is more suitable for you. Because no matter how technology develops, there is always a limit, and the power of magic has no limit. Magic is fundamentally idealistic. As long as your beliefs are strong enough, your power has no limit, and the more you can achieve. Mr. Steve Rogers, this is the first major decision in your life. The path you choose determines your future development. So, do you choose red or blue? Thank you, Brother Wani. I already understand everything you said. You have told me so many hidden world secrets in such detail, and I have decided to choose the path of magic. Becoming a devout practitioner of the goddess of justice, light, and hope, practicing God's will, and bringing redemption and hope to the world. Steve woke up from a dream and solemnly said to Li Wani. Okay, Steve, I feel your determination. Are you ready to step into the mysterious side world? Steve said with a determined expression. I'm ready, Brother Wani. Okay, let's first find a remote and uninhabited place. Then, I'll help you unlock your extraordinary power. When I was talking to you earlier, I used the Muggle Destroyer curse around me. When ordinary people see us, they instinctively do other things and don't pay attention to our behavior. However, when I help you activate your extraordinary power, the movement may be a bit too loud. The Muggle Destroyer curse cannot conceal the movement, it's best for us to find a remote place to do this. Li Wanwan discovered a loophole in his speech process and began to supplement the set message to Steve. In fact, Li Wani wouldn't have used such idealistic magic as the Muggle Destroyer curse in the HP world. He is still just a warrior and has not yet switched to a wizard, let alone become a left-handed holy sword and a right-handed magic wand of the Gryffindor Sword Saint. He only knows how to use the extreme sword technique in the Three Consciousness Crane now, and it's still the beggar version without a sword. Fortunately, when he fooled Steve, there were not many people around. Steve was also stunned by his world-shattering punches and didn't notice where he was speaking incorrectly. As a storyteller, I am still too presumptuous and have an inflated mindset. I have forgotten that there may be some bugs and inconsistencies in the details of story creation. I almost crashed, and my godly persona will also collapse. After deeply reflecting on his mistakes in operation in his heart, Li Wani was determined to take it as a warning. Then he said to Steve the God. I have seen in the River of Time that there is a party tonight called the Future World Expo, and your good brother James Barnes will invite us to attend. In this evening party, you will meet someone who changes your life story, and also meet another good brother and comrade. Together, you have created many legendary stories. So, I want to go to the scene and witness this scene in person. Also, I don't have Amelia's currency and identity. You should go find Bucky now and ask him to help me buy an extra ticket. Because he only has 2 tickets now. P.S. To be honest, why is it called Gryffindor? Because Gryffindor doesn't have any points. The purpose of this chapter by the author is to let Steve know about the mysterious side of the story, so that when something precious appears in the plot, other members of the Alliance will realize that they are the antique. Congratulations to all Yenzu and Ife on their Happy New Year's Eve and the Universiade in the Year of the Long. By the way, I would like to request a flower evaluation ticket, a monthly ticket, and a reward. Thank you all. Chapter 8. Fengying upgrades again. Demon Martial Double Cultivation History. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Li Wanyi told Steve about his request to witness a famous scene, he planned to go to Bucky first and prepare for the Future World Expo in advance. Then, Li Wanwan and Steve agreed on a time with each other on the street of the conscription office and gathered at 7 p.m. by the street lamp at the entrance of the Future World Expo. After agreeing on a time, Li Wanyi temporarily separated from Steve. As soon as Li Wanyi left the street of the conscription office, he successfully heard his long-awaited voice in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully rewriting the storyline of Captain America, Steve Rogers, and receiving a system reward of 1,000 points of my thinking power. Ding! Congratulations to the master for successfully rewriting the future destiny of others for the first time, creating a brand new story and triggering the hidden achievement of the initiator. Ding! Get system reward. Upgrade the system function once. Fengying said happily about the long-awaited owner's behavior. After listening to Fengying's system rewards and changes in his way of speaking, Li Wanyi leisurely walked on the streets of Brooklyn, pondering as he walked. There is no problem with the first system reward of Fengying. I thought about it for 1,000 points, which is quite reasonable. After all, I've been fabricating stories with half-truth and half-falsehood to deceive Captain Xiaoxi. It's unreasonable if it's only 100 or 200 points, and the hidden achievements triggered by the success of this one surprised me a lot. By the way, there was also a reward for a system function upgrade, which is not worth it. Moreover, the current Fengying system only has the function of FI activation, which can only use energy points to improve my and others' overall attributes, which is indeed a bit disappointing. If this feature is upgraded again, will it directly fast forward to the point where you can use technology to do what you want? Does Fengying's last greeting indicate that she has secretly upgraded again? Previously, she only had her own emotions in the tone of conversation with me, but now she can express them directly through language, and her way of speaking is very similar to that of Sister Osaka 10086. Does it mean that her emotional module has been completely released? Is it just possible that the brain may be a bit dull, and the words of this eagerly anticipated behavior indicate that Fengying must have known for a long time that I would rewrite the storyline, and then, after successfully rewriting Steve Rogers' future for the first time, my path immediately began to enter the next stage, and her restricted emotional module slowly opened up on its own. Undoubtedly, I am the future, the wind and shadow of the future. In order to merge the time that has not yet flowed with the long river that has flowed, dispelling oneself and imposing restrictions on oneself, this paradox of time is really damn. Li Wanyi sighed at the future he would inevitably experience, and his feelings for Fengying grew stronger. Fengying, do you think I'm the most handsome, or do the readers of this book all look handsome? He joked to Fengying with a smile. Fengying still thinks that readers who are comparable to Yanzu and Ifei are the most handsome, and the owner is the second most handsome in Fengying's heart. Fengying doesn't want to speak without conscience and with confidence. Fengying, you really can't speak. You should say that I am as handsome as the readers like Yanzu and Ifei, who are tied for the first place. You really hurt my heart. Li Wanyi roast about the truth. Forget it, you bad influence. Just give me a system reward, upgrade the EP1 start function once, and let me see how far the enhanced version of EP1 start can go. Okay, master. I understand. Fengying is upgrading herself. 1%. 16%. 30%, 100%. Ding. Fengying has been upgraded to version 2.2 of the Fengling Moon Shadow modifier. Ding. The system function has been successfully upgraded, and the F1 start function has been upgraded to the I didn't turn it on function. System function description. The owner can use their own thoughts and energy points to strengthen themselves and others according to their own wishes. This includes any way of strengthening the heavens and all realms, and the world's own energy system will automatically transform the power system of that worldview. Note: except for the owner themselves, anyone who gains power after being enhanced by this feature needs to shout loudly. Adults, times have changed before they can use it. After listening to the description of the system function, I didn't turn it on. After the successful upgrade of Fengying, Wanwan felt both excited and suddenly enlightened. He is truly my good figure, and he also follows my heart and soul with joy. This slogan is truly a blow to both oneself and others, with its own damage buff. Moreover, the upgraded system's functions are really helpful to me, and I don't have to spend any brain cells continuing to deceive Steve. My original idea was to directly use the F1 start system function to enhance Steve's four-dimensional and magical talents, and then ask Xiaoguai to let Steve apprentice to Kamatage to learn magic, allowing him to directly engage in magic and martial arts dual cultivation. Even the goddess who symbolized justice, light, and hope that he had previously told him was preparing to be transformed into the trinity of Emperor Weishan. Coincidentally, justice, light, and hope correspond perfectly to the three gods. I didn't expect this extraordinary wealth to come so quickly. Wanwan didn't even need to find a way to deceive and demonize himself. Now he's just taking one step to his stomach. It's up to you. Justice Arbitrator. Steve Rogers, let Marvel Cinematic Universe experience the terrifying value of 1 second 3,000 punches. P.S. What do you think of the Captain of the United States in the magic and martial arts double cultivation? By the way, I would like to ask Yenzu and Ife to subscribe more, request flower evaluation tickets, monthly tickets, and tips. Thank you all. Chapter 9. The new DLC story. Plan to build a super English. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The title of Justice Arbitrator. Steve Rogers was very interesting to Wanwan just thinking about it in his heart. The soul of the musician in my body is burning wildly, and the purity of the musician is constantly being elevated. Wanwan wandered aimlessly on the streets of Brooklyn with a sense of detachment and contentment. He strolled and enjoyed everything about the retro art style of World War II, gradually strolling to the entrance of a store. Brooklyn Antique Shop. Wanwan looked at this familiar antique store and tried to recall the corresponding plot of this antique store in Captain America's memory. Isn't this one of America's secret military bases? The underground of the antique shop has also been emptied into a secret laboratory that has been turned into super soldier serum. There are many key plot characters in this secret base, such as Dr. Abraham Erskine, who studies and produces super soldier serum, and Mr. Howard Stark, a super genius who can still teach the proud Nini a lesson decades later. There is also Agent Peggy Carter, a red-lipped royal sister with big waves and long hair. Wait, Agent Carter, Captain Carter. Peggy Carter is one of the female powerhouses in the Marvel Universe. She mistakenly replaced Steve Rogers by injecting super soldier serum to become the captain of the UK in the anime series. By the way, he also defeated the monsters summoned by the nine-headed snake and Red Skull using the space gem. In the drama, his intelligence remained high and his strength was also impressive. Then, her high-energy moments were selected by the Interferer Frog and she joined the Multiverse Squad, along with other Multiverse Guardians, using their intelligence to defeat the infinite arcane of the Six Jewels. Finally, she had a fight with the blackened, kidney deficiency mage, Doctor Strange of Darkness, and in the end, she won. Although Black Strange's failure was too dramatic, it is not difficult to see Captain Carter's bravery and intelligence in these two battles. Wanwan suddenly remembered Captain Carter's high-energy scene, and then had a whim to consider whether he should also give Peggy Carter a small chance to see if he could surpass Captain Carter in the hypothetical scene. Although today's Peggy Carter may not be as intelligent and brave as Captain Carter, as one of the veterans who founded the Strategic Science Corps, her storyline runs through Captain America's 3 Mile storyline. And, like rewriting Steve's storyline, I also rewrote her storyline. My thoughts on energy must be constantly gaining a lot from energy sources, right? After all, there is nothing in her story like Steve being temporarily taken offline for 70 years due to being frozen halfway through. For 70 years, she has been creating stories on Earth. Do whatever you say. Wanwan has been waiting at the entrance of the antique store to activate the waiting for the rabbit mode, waiting for a big beautiful rabbit volunteer to take the bait. Looking at the old clock in the glass cabinet of the antique shop, it was already showing noon, and I had been waiting for an hour without a trace. Wanwan wants to go get some food to fill his stomach first, and come meet her again another day. At this moment, a woman wearing British-style clothes walked over from the street direction. That's right, she's Peggy Carter. She is wearing a British-style beige trench coat today, as well as a black speed suit and a pair of black high heels. Her fashionable appearance makes her look very cool and stunning. Wanwan silently walked up to her, stopped her, and said, "Good day, Miss Peggy Carter. It's an honor to meet you. Can we find a place to eat and chat?" Peggy's expression immediately froze after listening, and then she immediately regained her calm expression. Then he enthusiastically said, "Of course, I can. This handsome Mr. Dongfang. I know a very delicious Chinese restaurant. Let's go there and chat while eating." Subsequently, Peggy led Wanwan to stroll into the Chinese restaurant. After the dishes were served in the private room, Peggy immediately changed her indifferent expression and asked, "How do you know my real name? Do you still know a high-ranking official in the British Army or an intelligence dealer?" Wow, truly a brave and intelligent Carter agent. He didn't ask me the stupid question of who I am directly, nor did he think I was a Nazi. His thinking is really sharp. Peggy, you are much smarter than other ordinary people. It's amazing that you can find clues in my various details and roughly know some information about me. Before you, there was a passionate young man who didn't know me. When he heard me call out his real name, he immediately thought I was a Nazi and planned to shout on the street, asking the army to catch me. Wanwan praised Peggy's sensitivity. Let me answer your second and third questions first. Firstly, I don't know anyone from the British Empire. Secondly, I can be considered a somewhat special intelligence dealer. If you want to know the answer to the first question, you must get into my bed, not by boat. Are you willing to pay some price for the answer? Wanwan said with a meaningful smile on his face. Of course not. Yes. But either you tell me the answer now or you tell me in the military interrogation room. What do you think? With a swipe, Peggy pointed a pistol at Wanwan with a cold and threatening expression. Peggy, do you know what the eternal truth in this world is? Whoever has a big fist is the truth, like Littlebeard now, so he is the truth now. So, do you believe in absolute power? Wanwan said solemnly. P.S. The interferer frog diagram is actually the big-headed observer in the universe, who often interferes with major events in various universes and is jokingly referred to as the interferer. Chapter 10. Install a pen in front of people. God of Deceit and Setting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wanwan took it seriously and said with a heavy tone to Peggy Carter, "So, do you believe in absolute power?" Suddenly, Peggy clearly felt that the Eastern man across the table seemed to have been replaced immediately. His aura suddenly became fierce, and his attitude became serious and heavy. He now gives his senses a striking resemblance to the Empress Dowager who once met him. Even though this handsome Eastern man was still chatting with her happily just now, how could he just say one sentence and then change someone from inside out? Peggy's sharp intuition seemed to sense something from Wanwan's sudden change in attitude, and he probably had to make some small moves towards himself. With these thoughts in mind, Peggy immediately raised her pistol and pointed it at him as a guard. Then, she warned Wanwan and said, "What do you really want to do? If you don't talk to me well again, I have already received full marks in my Mozambique shooting course." Wanwan, as a powerful figure who quickly became a heavenly father in just a few hours, although he is a cute new heavenly father, he has not made much moves. But as a life level of the heavenly father, there is no need to worry about the American-style cohabitation threat of Peggy Carter. I only saw him silently pick up a wooden chopstick that he had asked his boss for while eating, and slowly say, "Extreme divine sword technique, invisible slash." With a few clanging sounds, the blue energy sword energy in the room instantly cut the pistol in Peggy's hand into pieces, leaving only a bare handle. The black attack speed suit worn on the legs has also become a battle-damaged buff version equipment. At this moment, the time in the private room suddenly froze. Peggy Carter silently looked at the bare pistol in her hand and reluctantly put down the handle. Is this what you call absolute power? So, who are you? You have shown me your absolute power, and you must have some intentions towards me. Tell me, what exactly do you want me to do for you? Peggy said weakly to Liwani. Oh, beautiful Miss Peggy. I believe you can also see that the absolute power I possess is far beyond what ordinary people can imagine. In this world, under absolute power, any will of mine will eventually become a reality. You shouldn't ask me now what you can do for me. Instead, you should ask me what I can do for you. As a prerequisite for me to help you, what kind of cost do you need to pay? Isn't it? Beautiful Miss Peggy, what do you think? Wanwan said to Peggy in a demonic whisper, bewitching her. You're right, esteemed sir. Your power is extraordinary, and I can't do anything that you can't even do. So, let's get to know each other again. My name is Peggy Carter, 23 years old, and I am a British agent dispatched to America to assist. It's an honor to meet you. After listening to Liwani's words, Peggy gradually let go of her fear and calmed down, returning with a friendly smile. My name is Liwani, a god of time and story. I can't remember my exact age clearly. I am Loki, the brother of Odin Bolson, the king of the gods in Norse mythology, and the uncle of Thor Bolson, the god of thunder. Liwani began to supplement his own settings again, planning ahead and preparing for the fun of Thor, the god of hammers, in the future. Peggy Carter, I have seen one of your contemporaries in the long river of stories. Captain Peggy Carter. She was both intelligent and brave, defeating various villains who attempted to destroy the universe and successfully saving many universes. And you in this world, you in the story. Although he assisted other heroes in thwarting the Nazi Hydra organization's plan to destroy the world and became the hero of this war, Littlebeard was also defeated as a result. But behind the story, you grow old alone. Being taken away by illness brings your life to an end. Because I really don't like the ending of your story. I don't want your story to go down the drain right after World War II. So, I want to change your storyline. Make you stronger, even surpassing your contemporaries. The legendary story made by Captain Carter. You might think that I'm just a big wizard with magical powers. The plot is well written and very infectious. But the future will prove everything. I know you were sent by the British military to assist and protect Dr. Abraham Erskine. Let him study and produce super soldier serum in America, intending to end this war with the super soldier plan. And on the street we first met, there was a shop called Brooklyn Antique Shop. The underground of the shop has been emptied by you as a secret research base for your super soldier program. Liwani's level of detail in the super soldier plan immediately shook Peggy Carter's heart. Because Peggy herself is well aware that this super soldier program belongs to the classified category. Except for the senior executives of Dai Ying and America, only the generals responsible for this project and those who have been carefully screened and have a clear background are known. So, Peggy believes that Liwani would never know about the process of this secret plan. Combined with his previous story of Captain Peggy Carter and herself, she actually felt the life stories of two Peggy Carter in her mind, and the visuals were very realistic. Finally, Wanwan's extraordinary power was so powerful that Peggy had never seen such a powerful human in her life, and gradually believed that he might be a god. P.S. Perhaps everyone thinks that Peggy from the original MCU was accompanied by Steve when she crossed over, but the universe written by the author. Steve and the others have all been modified like this. Peggy and Steve will not have a romantic relationship.